All right, good morning. Everybody doing all right? It's always good not to come directly after the food. I'm glad there was some song and some hand clapping so y'all won't go to sleep. Because you know how we do. We will eat and then go to sleep. As you heard from the lengthy introduction, I appreciate the read-up, good brother. I need to modify that. It's hard to hear about yourself and the things that you've done, but it's also good to hear about the things that you've done. And all the times you don't take time to look back to where you come from and what you achieved, you kind of forget where you're trying to go. So when I go out to speak and talk to organizations and things like that, I try to remind people, do not forget where you come from. Don't forget what success looks like, because you'll try and keep going and going and going, and you'll swear up and down that you're not making any progress. But when you stop, and we're going to hold on, what's the phrase? When you look back over your life and see where you come from, see how God's hand has led you and guided you over those positions, you need to stop and give praise. So right now, if everybody will just give a hand clap up for where God has brought you from. It's hard to hear. It really is. It's a little embarrassing because, they teach you to be humble in church, and we'll talk about that here in a minute, but every once in a while, you need to pat yourself on the back. I did it. I was amazing. I'm going to give myself a high five. I was good. But enough about me. I am your speaker for the next few moments. I will not keep you long. The introduction, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio originally, and I've been in the Northern Virginia area probably about 20 plus years. So there's a lot of things that happen in between that, but today we're going to talk about mothers. And we're going to start off a little bit. I'm going to tell you about my mama. I'm going to talk about my mama right now. I love my mama. If y'all love your mama, say amen. Amen. Everybody loves mama until she has something bad to tell you. But it was approximately, no, not approximately, I was sitting at the table with that last song and this just came to me. Has been 30 years. 30 years ago on this month, because I turned another age next week, I graduated from high school, and then I went to high school to my prom and everything, but I had gone on crutches. And if you get my book, and I wouldn't let you have my book, the story is in the book, I blew my knee out coming out of high school right before I went to college. I just signed my letter of intent. I was on the way to Alabama, Huntsville to play basketball, but I blew my knee out. And I had to go to prom on crutches and morphine. I didn't want to let the young lady down who, I got the nerve to ask her to go to prom, and she was all excited. She was like, you did what to your knee? You still going, right? Yes, I'm going. It was probably the worst night ever because I couldn't drive. I left my license. My sister had to take me. She had to pay for that. I bought the tickets for Six Flags, which was Cedar Point over in Cleveland. I couldn't go, and she took some other dude. And to this day, she has not given me my money back for not going, but I'm okay with it. I'm over it. It's been 30 years, but I didn't know she owed me about $40. So, but that whole night, that I'm trying to make the best of it and have a good time. I could see my date wasn't having a good time, and I felt kind of down. I come home, hit the door, and who's sitting on the couch? Mama. Baby, how did it go? I didn't have any fun, Mama. It was bad. Sit down and talk to me, baby. How you? It's okay. See, Mama was right there. Mama has always been there. And therefore, I give thanks to my mom, and I lift her up this morning. She's not here. She's in Ohio. But I know that she's praying at this moment because that's what my mama does. And so we're here to talk this morning, I'd like to briefly about what it is that mothers do. Now, before we know, this is the day before Mother's Day. And tomorrow you'll get your flowers, you get your card, you go to the buffet that was $12.49 yesterday, will be $49.95 tomorrow, and you'll be standing outside for about an hour trying to get in. But before we do all that, we want to make sure we stop and pause and tell you some of the things that mothers have taught us over the time period. Let me share with you what my mom has taught me over the years. She taught me logic. If you fall off that swing and break your neck, you're not going to go shopping with me. And the classic, if everybody jumped off the cliff, would you jump off too? Mother taught me how to laugh with humor. When a lawnmower runs over your toes, see how fast you run in. Mother taught me about genetics. You just like your father. Mama taught me about anticipation. Just wait till your father gets home. My mother talked to me about receiving. You're going to get it when I get home. My mother taught me about religion. You better pray to Jesus that stain comes out my carpet. My mother taught me about stamina. You ain't going to move until you finish those greens. My mother taught me about the circle of life. You know what she said. I brought you in this world I will take you out. See, Mama taught me all those things. And above all, Mother taught me about justice. One day you will have kids of your own, and I hope they're just like you so you can get what you deserve. That's Mama. And my mother was a great woman, and she's one of those people who set the standard and the bar for all women to follow. And it was great to have a mother who was active. And I grew up in the church. I grew up in the church. I spent all my waking days in the church, and it was a great experience. One of the things about being in church is that you hear a lot from the preacher about the women in the Bible, all the iconic women. Everybody has their favorite woman of the Bible, yes? Call that favorite person's name out right now. Go ahead, call it out. Esther, Ruth, all of those. But here's the problem. See, those stories didn't mean anything to me when I was a kid. They didn't connect with me. Now, you want to talk about David, you want to talk about Joseph, I'm right there with that. That's like manpower, yeah. But when it came to the ladies of the Bible, I did not really connect with them. I didn't know those women. I don't know what they're talking about. I didn't know my mama. But let me tell you what I did know, who I did know, what women I did know. I knew Sister Ellison. I knew Sister Renfro, Auntie Louise, Sister Smith, Miss James, my mama's bestie, Miss Ella Robinson. See, I knew those women, and those women lived the life of the women in the Bible. So those mothers around me actually added something to my life, and I didn't even know it. All these 48 years on this earth, these women have been praying for me. I go back to the church every now and then, and it's not like it used to be, and sometimes I don't want to go. And my mom says, come on, go to the church. I said, Mama, why I got to go back to the church? I'm going to go to this other church over this big one over here, the big shiny one. She simply says, because you have to show people that God answers prayers. You got to walk back in the door so they know that they prayed to God that you would be whatever, and you walk back in there, and sometimes you got to go back and say thank you. So this morning, to all the mothers and those who are in roles of mothers, I say thank you. If you don't hear it today, if you haven't heard it yet, thank you. Because you've done things for people that no one will ever know. You've done things you never know for the people. So one of the things we want to talk about is that if you have that godly woman in your life, that someone that you go to, someone that reaches out to you, someone who prays for you, someone who stands in the gap for you, that is a blessing. That is a blessing. Again, if you're a mother-like, or the father who plays in the mother's role, let's not forget Dad up in this. We always talk about where Dad was. My dad was right there. Let's not forget him, too, because sometimes Sunday morning, and I'm a divorced man myself, I got a daughter, I don't do hair. I told my daughter, she's about this big now, I don't do hair. But let's get to church, and Sister Jones does. Somebody was there to stand in the gap. So let's not ignore the dads on Mother's Day because we don't ignore the mothers on Father's Day. Let the dads know we appreciate you as well. So thank you, fathers, for doing what you do. Now, as we move forward and we're talking about the woman in the Bible and Mother's Day, I want to bring up a quick verse. Okay, I won't be before you long. It's Matthew 15, and it's 22 to 28. And if you got your swords with you, go ahead and pull them out. If not, I will read it to you. A Canaanite woman from the vicinity came to him, crying out, Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me. My daughter is demon-possessed and suffering terribly. Jesus did not answer a word. So his disciples came to him and urged to send her away, for she keeps bothering us. He answered, I was sent only to the lost sheep of Israel. The woman came and knelt before him, and Lord, help me, she said. He replied, it is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs. Yes, it is, Lord. She said, even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table. Then Jesus said unto her, woman, you have great faith. Your request has been granted. And the daughter was healed at that moment. For the brief time, I'd like to bring you the topic, you don't know me, but. You don't know me, but. As you put the backdrop of the story, we now have Jesus, and again, right before chapter 16, he's heading off to feed the masses. That's what's coming up next, right? So Jesus is preparing to go do the next thing. Here comes this woman. We don't know her name. The Bible doesn't give her a name. She's the unnamed woman. But we see a few things about her. She came right to Jesus, and she was on a mission. She was on a mission to do something. She stood in the gap for her daughter. She stood in the gap for her. So how many of you mothers in this room stand in the gap for somebody? You do things that people don't know you do, and they don't have to know that you do, but you stand in the gap for people. You make sure that people are taken care of. You stand in the gap. This mother had a mission, and she was not going to be denied. If you look back at the text, she went to Jesus not once, not twice, 3 times. And at that second time I began to read, I was like, no, wow, I can't believe Jesus did that. He just told her no. But he was testing her faith. He wants to see, do you really, really want this? Are you really here to stand in the gap, or are you just here because you heard stuff? She was there to let Jesus know, no, I'm here for that blessing because I heard about you. And I need you right now. So she stood in the gap, and she was like, Jesus, you don't know me, but I stand in the gap. Jesus, you don't know me, but my baby girl needs your touch right now. Not later, not tomorrow, right now. My baby girl needs you right now. You don't know me, but I heard you are the only one that can make this happen. Fix it, Jesus. Fix it. You don't know me, but I ain't leaving until you fix it. That I wasn't in the text, I just added that one. But you kind of get the sense that when a mother is on job, when she is on point, this is what she comes with. I think about all the women at the church and how they would get together and pray and wait for answers and know that God was going to deliver. God's will be done. We may not like it, but his will be done. My mom has a favorite phrase, and my dad died about now 11 years ago, and they had been married almost 50 years. It was very difficult when my dad passed. And he fought a long fight, and unfortunately, I'm the son. There's only 2 of us. I'm the elder son. I'm the only son. And I had to make the decision. Pull the plug or leave it on. But fortunately, I knew my dad. He was never going to be accepting of living in that state. I said, you better turn that thing off before he get up. That's what you better do. So we pulled the plug. My mom and I had to live. And she began to state this phrase to me. She said, you know what, son? God is not taken by surprise. I said, well, I don't necessarily get that. What do you mean God is not taken by surprise? Yeah. If you believe the rest of the Bible, the Alpha, the Omega, the all-knowing, all of those accolades we cry out at church, that is God. And yes, he is not taken by surprise. It is us. But should we be surprised that God delivers? Should we be surprised that our prayers are answered? No. Should we be surprised, mothers, that you got to go one more time for that request? You got to take it to Jesus one more again so that's our request. You got to grab that child by the neck one more time to get him out of that way. That woman in Baltimore, thank Jesus she did what she did. They try to make it be something else. She did what she was supposed to do. Snatch his butt straight up out the street, get home. See, that thing would happen at the church. You know, you walk in, there's always somebody that makes that happen. She was probably that one. Everybody in the neighborhood knows that when you go to that house. See, my house was like that. When I grew up, my mom, my dad, and we were on a corner too. This was so bad. We were on a corner, and there was a spot right next to it where everybody hang out. But every morning, if you come to 5641 Jefferson Street, you're going to pray before you leave out that front door. So my friends would come over. Hey, Mark, let's go. Let's first leave. Hold up. We got to pray. Okay. But let me try to leave. Mark, we're not praying this morning. Your mama not going to pray? Huh. See, Mom's ministry was further beyond than just my house. Mom's ministry is the house. Mom's ministry is wherever Mom is. And you all know it. You see it. You see what happens everywhere that you go. So you can't give up. What would have happened if the woman with no name in the Bible gave up? Her daughter would have not been healed. We would not have known her faith. And maybe we would have questioned whether or not God was going to do it or not. But she didn't give up. You can't give up. That's why, mothers, we appreciate what you do. Appreciate what you do. I have many calls. When I went to school at Huntsville, there's many calls in the middle of the night where there's just a question that had to be asked that only mama can answer. There's a question that you're going to have to, some truth that needs to come out that can only be coming from your mama. When I was going through the divorce, I went home to tell my mom about it. Oh, Mom, this is bad. Y'all was married 40 years, and we pulled about 15 off this thing, and it's not looking good. And she sat me down and said, baby, it's going to be all right. I wish it had worked out. I wish you could have done this and the other. But God is not taken by surprise. It will be okay. Nothing has changed about you, but you should change for the better. Whatever the issues were, they should be better. Leave it with Jesus. Jesus fix it. Okay, Mama, whatever you say. That's what mamas do. And that's what we do, and we expect you all to be in that role, and we appreciate you in that role. So, my mom and her crew, the names I called out, there were several more women in that crew that she just leaned on when we were growing up. And I began to see a common theme. between those women. There's like three things. I want to leave you with three things this morning to help you be a better mother. Everybody say better. Because God always asks us to strive to do our best, right? We got to get better. You got to be willing to learn and willing to add on. So all you older, more seasoned mothers in the house, to your younger seasoned mother in the house, I'm going to give you three things that I have seen and believe that mothers need to have. Number one, you need to have power. Number two, you need to have presence. And number three, you need to be able to pray. Right? So let's talk about it right quick. Number one, you need to have power. I'm not talking about physical strength. I'm not talking about flipping tables over or going off in church meeting. I mean, we know you can do those things. We're not talking about that. I'm talking about the ability to control and handle multiple things at one time. Think about the duck on the water. It looks real smooth up top, but down below is one of these numbers, right? Mothers have power. They're able to network and move things and make a call, shoot a look. Things happen when mama shows up. You must have power. You can't be afraid. You can't cower back. You must be able to say the things that people can't say. Sometimes you got to say the things that pastor's not able to say. And you must say it for her in love. That's the mother's role. Let's talk about presence. Things happen when mama show up. I know we used to cut up major in the church until Sister Smith walked up in the back. Ah, yeah. Praise the Lord. Here we go. Hey. Why? She had presence. She had presence. Look, think about this. When you walk into a room, there's three things that can happen. Number one, nothing. Number two, you suck the air out of the room. They wish you would leave. Or you infuse it with power, grace, and presence. If you got that, you're probably a mom. You got the mother-like qualities. That ain't nothing but the Holy Spirit coming through you and out of you, and people know it. Think about this. On your job, when you go to work and people start talking crazy, they go, oh, I'm so sorry. I know I shouldn't have said that in front of you. I know it's a bad. You ever get that? That's presence. They know that stuff can't come to you. You're not going to hear it. You're not going to deal with it. Things become in order when mama shows up. These women that were mothers in my life had that presence about them. They were all sitting in the front row, and everybody would just sit up. Pastor had to yield up a little bit. He didn't want to get too out of pocket because the women in the front row was handling business. Power. So we have power, we have presence, and the last thing is prayer. James 5:16 says what? What does James 5:16 say? Go ahead. You were saying it, though. Prayer, that's right. The effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. The last part of the verse. Mothers know how to pray. There's something about a mother's prayer. You all have the ability to get to the root of the issue, to call it out. I know my baby. Then this is what. I know this issue. You got people. You are affecting lives that you don't even know. How many of you pray for people that you don't even know? Because some of your friends brought this to this prayer group and said, "I'm at work and we got this issue. Girl, we're gonna pray on it." Mothers' prayers are amazing. There's many a night, have mercy, about to make a decision. It's going to be a bad one, too. And you hear something, boom, I was praying, and I'm going to go this direction. Classic case. In college, I was at a fraternity party. We're having a party on our campus. And I was actually graduated at this time, just waiting my time to get out of campus. And we were throwing a party. And it was up at our student center. Now, I was at a predominantly white school, so for the black people to have a party was a big deal. The black kids from Black College across town, Alabama, and A&M, come over and hang out with us. Unfortunately, that day, another fraternity brother of mine and a Mason brother of his had a beef. And they headed up on the hill. They bring it to the school. And I just went around the room, like, dapping everybody up, hey, I gotta go. See you later, bro. And I get this one particular brother, and I don't know if you watch cartoons, he's like Slowpoke Rodriguez. He always carry a gun. And this brother had a gun. I said, no, what you doing with the gun on right now? Oh, you know how it is, bro. Ha. I said, dude, really? So I leave. I just get home, and back then we had the cell phone. The house phone rang. Yo, Wiggs, you need to get back to the UC. Newton shot somebody. Get back out. What? I run back up to UC because I don't know who it was or what happened. I'm getting back up to the student center. Police everywhere. I get inside, and right where I was standing, it went down. Fighting over a girl and a microphone. Someone lay dead. Could have been me. My mama was praying. Grandmama was praying. Auntie Louise was praying. Sister Smith was praying. They didn't even know the situation. God protect, Jesus protect. See, your job as a mother is to make sure you don't stop praying. You may not see it today, you may not see it tomorrow, but trust and believe God will answer your prayer. So that's the three things: the power, the presence, and prayer. Now, in the text, we talk about the lady who she has no name. And maybe some of you here, maybe I just came today to pass on an encouraging word to someone who may be struggling. You know what? I'm doing all this work, and Pastor got me on this committee, that committee, and I'm praying. Don't nobody call my name. Don't nobody say thank you to me. By show of hands, when's the last time you got some accolades at your job? Okay, right, usually the case. No one raises their hand. See, people stop saying thank you and great job a long time ago. That's a whole other discussion. But you're sitting here trying to do the work of God and the will of God, and you got attitude about nobody called your name. Well, the woman in the Bible, we don't know her name. But I'm here to tell you this morning there was a person involved in that scenario who did know her name. There's a person involved in your scenario, if you don't get your accolades here and your flowers tomorrow, that knows your name. Jesus knows your name. The name you're calling on to fix stuff, he knows your name. It's not about the accolades you get here, and yes, we love you, Mom, love Mom, but you know what? God loves you more. Your job is more important than whether or not I say thank you today or tomorrow. Don't give up. Keep pressing on. We need you. Your church needs you. Your children need you. Your coworkers need you. Everybody around you needs you to continue to do what you do, or else things will fail. We see what happens when they took prayer out of school. So if you haven't heard it today, again, I say thank you. Thank you for your faithfulness. Thank you for your heart. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for being a rock in the weary, dried up land. Thank you for doing and being not denied on your mission. Thank you for your testimony. Thank you for your testimony, both good and bad, because sometimes people think testimony is always a good thing. Pastor, I'm a confessional right here. I was saved at an early age, 7, 8, somewhere in there. And we know in church when it comes to testimony time, everybody's story seems to get a little bigger. I just came from then and Jesus raised me up and now I'm saying, woo! He's 65. I said, man, look at that great testimony. Didn't God just work that out? Didn't Jesus just work? Man, I don't know if God's been working about it. And then it was till I got older, and Mama said, so baby, you know what? It's just a great testimony. You were saved at 7, not 77. It's the same thing. Do not be afraid of your testimony. We must make sure that people know our testimony. Don't forget that the woman that's without the name, that God knew her name. And that the women of this church and your community, I commend you for what you do, and I commend the pastor for his effort in having this event. It's amazing. It's good for y'all to come out. Let's give her a hand for what she's done this morning. And give a hand for what God has done this morning. And I prepare to take my seat. Let me leave you with this. May God give you, for every storm, a rainbow, for every tear, a smile, for every care, a promise, and a blessing in each trial. For every problem life sends, a faithful friend to share. For every sigh and sweet song, an answered prayer. Thank you very much for having me this morning. I am Mark Wiggins. God bless you, and happy Mother's Day.
One more time, Sister Level Mark and Stephen Man Wiggins. Right, man. Hey,